Peeling out, taking flights. Life on the edge is the way the yogi life. No fun if I can't do 100 through the light. Probably the only way that I can live and feel alive.
Thursdays in the house. We got China Dow joining us right now. How you doing, China Dow? We got a pretty serious subject that we're going to expand on from the first segment. The FBI found 200 sex trafficking victims, including 59 missing kids.
Yes.
59 missing kids.
Not to mention, they arrested 126 suspects of child exploitation and human trafficking and 68 suspected traffickers.
This is unreal, and I think the reason why I did the first segment the way I did is because media and the cops come out right away and try to put in, as they call it, outlaw motorcycle gangs, but we know it's outlaw bikers and stuff like that, which a lot of people have to recognize that all that means is that they don't want to live by society's morals or the way their rules are. They want to live their own lives. It doesn't mean they go out and commit crime, but they're always throwing clubs under the bus for this kind of stuff. And it's just not true. Yeah, it does prostitution and all that stuff happen within the scene. Yeah, it does. But it's not on an organized level like they claim it is.
I find it interesting that this bus came down after the release of the Sound of Freedom film. You know, the one about the sex trafficking?
Yeah, that was that one.
They claim was based on a fictionalized account.
It's not fictionalized. That was a real deal.
I know, but I'm just saying there.
But that's the media because they don't want to admit it. Do you know that town in California? And it's not me, it's Hollywood. With all these music producers, all these movie execs, they're pedophiles, most of them out there.
Yep.
And now you're seeing a lot of them running cover for this movie that came out. This is a very real situation. 59 missing kids.
Yeah.
You know, missing kids as far as milk cartons or that kind of stuff ended up as a sex trafficking victim.
Or the billboards in Walmart.
You actually have sick ass people that will pay to hurt these kids. I find it disgusting. I think they should get freaking torn apart like the animals they are. There needs to be like a North Korea type of freaking execution for them.
They need to do something. They need to, I guess you could say.
But let's keep it on bikers for now.
Okay.
How they, do you know any biker that would allow that kind of shit to happen?
No, never. I've never met any biker or that would ever allow something to happen like this to a child.
That's why I said if you're, they brought up that issue of 2022 with Sturgis. You had them 6 idiots out there and they weren't members of clubs. You had one that was Middle Eastern, I think it was. See, the Eastern Bloc countries, when you're talking about, say, Ukraine, it was rampant there. Or Romania, Albania, they're sick motherfuckers over there. They do some nasty stuff to women over there. That's where you're finding a lot of stuff. And then you have everybody coming over the border where they have to pay their way. But to even throw clubs into that type of thing, if you will, is just ridiculous. If that's what the people that say, why you say go up to because the club member is going to fucking help you. Mm-hmm. Because they got daughters, they got granddaughters, mothers,
sisters.
And you know what? You can even, for those that ever spend time in the joint, that kind of crime ain't looked upon. You're turned out like a bitch, because the same with them. That's some animalistic kind of crap right there, is to put a woman through that stuff, and a kid. But going back to saying, what the hell? Why would somebody pay for that, to do that to a kid?
Because they're a bunch of sick fucks. They really are. They're sick. And I think when they get these people that are doing these sex trafficking rings and whatnot, they need to make an example of them.
Well, look at this Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
Oh, geez, yeah.
You had the rich and powerful. You had Bill Clinton flying there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they caught him once, and because of his connections, he got out of it. But you have the rich, the famous, going to an island doing this to people. But they always want to project their crimes on the other people. So they'll go after clubs, they'll go after even gangs sometimes, to cover for what they do. But the movie industry is the worst for it. Come on, look at that one actor, 2 actors were destroyed. And they were popular during the 80s. Those were the 2 Coreys.
Yeah, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman.
Look at what happened to them. And when they started speaking out, they all came after their reputations.
Yep. It's sick.
Being a child star, and I don't know how the parents do it. They let them go to these type of parties.
Because parents are only thinking about the money. That's all they're thinking about. When it comes to the celebrity child stars, they're only thinking about their kids, getting the money from their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, hey, guess what? They don't have to work. They can just live.
Well, look what they did to Gary Coleman. But going back to the 2 Coreys, who was it? Corey Haim, that worked on Lucas, the movie Lucas.
Yeah.
He came out and said, "Yeah, it was Charlie Sheen that was molesting me," and nothing was ever done.
Nope. And that's the sad part. These celebrities that are violating child stars, they get a slap on the wrist.
They don't even get a slap on the wrist. They let it's gone. Nothing happens.
Well, it happened so long ago. We'll just let it slide.
And it's probably still continuing to this day.
I can guarantee.
And now you're seeing why the media is attacking that movie. They're attacking it with force. What is it called? The Sound of Freedom?
The Sound of Freedom, yeah.
Why would a media be out there attacking something like that?
Because the media doesn't want the truth out there. It's not the way they see things. So, it doesn't fit their narrative.
Journalism is dead in this country. For the media to go after such a serious subject like that, they're covering. They're covering for people.
Well, isn't that the way the world goes?
If you're rich, there's one standard. If you're poor, there's another. And it's usually the poor people that are getting entrapped in this kind of stuff. There was one video on TikTok that, was actually made as something funny. But when you look at this type of stuff, how can you find this shit funny? You remember on HBO and during the 90s where they had those pimp parties? It actually made me sick. But I'm just going to show you a little bit about where people think this is funny and it really ain't. Because this is what makes some of the runaways go into this type of stuff.
Hey, beautiful, how you doing? What's your name? Excuse me, I can't even get your name. You got Facebook or MySpace? Sorry to bother you, ma'am. Have a nice day. What is up with these people and their attitudes, man? It's so beautiful outside to have such a stank attitude, man. They don't want to talk to somebody that's something like a pimp. That's fine with me. I just don't know about my business because that's what a pimp do. I'm a real pimp.
Excuse me.
Oh.
This you?
What? Yeah, this is one of my cars. Why? What's up? Yeah, why? What's up? You like this?
Kids fall for that shit.
Yeah.
with their smart talking bullshit. I've always hated them type. But that is at one level. But when you get into the extremes, and this happens in Chicago, it happens in LA, New York, where you have Albanians, Russians, Chinese. They get really sick. They got what's called meat packing plants, where you got a girl that's tied to a bed, drugged, and she's getting it one after another. But can you imagine that being done to a kid?
I don't like to imagine that kind of stuff, but the sad part is it's happening every day.
Every single day it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen to this story. You know what? The FBI finally did their fucking jobs.
There's a first for everything.
There is.
A massive nationwide sweep by the FBI. Dozens of them were children, young victims of sexual exploitation at the hands of human traffickers, according to the FBI. In Operation Cross Country, agents worked with state and local police to find victims and give them a new life while putting suspected traffickers behind bars. Human smuggling is a topic News Nation has been following for months, whether it be across our borders or within our own country. Joining us now with much more on the sweep is News Nation correspondent Elizabeth Pran. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, this is year 13 for Operation Cross Country. No different from years past, saving lives and arresting suspects.
Human trafficking, according to FBI Director Christopher Wray, it is one of the most heinous crimes the agency faces. Annually, it casts a wide net during Operation Cross Country. In July, during a 2-week operation, the FBI, with its state and local law enforcement partners, rescued 200 victims, 59 of whom were minors of sex trafficking and child sexual exploitation, some as young as 11. 126 suspects were arrested, 68 charged with human trafficking. Authorities say more charges will come. In a statement, the assistant FBI director in charge, writing in part, human trafficking is a devastating crime that exploits vulnerable members of communities nationwide. Those victims can attest it's a dark life that isn't always accurately portrayed on the big screen. Most victims know their captor and still can't escape.
People have to understand, yes, it's not the lifestyle they chose, or when they first started out, yes, it was willingly, but after a while, they have no interest in it. They want to go back to their life, and they really try to get out. But after that, your pimps aren't really willing to let you out.
Sami Ali rescues victims such as Abigail. Ali herself is a survivor. Originally from Pakistan, she's dedicated her life to her nonprofit, No More Tears. After rescuing victims, she and her team help them to reintegrate into society and to recover. Discovery Plus has partnered with No More Tears to shed light on their work in a series called Fight or Flight.
I've been spat on, choked, had a gun held to my head. We're going to get you out with your son, with the police officers tonight.
While the sting is effective, advocates say this is an ongoing battle. The United Nations says human trafficking is a billion-dollar agency impacting hundreds of thousands, if not more, annually.
And Elizabeth, I mean, the topic is really resonating this summer. Look at The Sound of Freedom. That's an independent film that was released on the 4th of July. It has now grossed $149 million, just blowing the doors off some of these big budget films.
Yeah,
Elizabeth?
outstripping Mission Impossible last I read. All right.
You notice how lackadaisical that anchor just said that when they brought up Sound of Freedom?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that out there.
You
As young as 11 years old.
which makes me throw up because of the fact that our oldest granddaughter's 10.
It really hits you in the fucking stomach, don't it?
Yeah.
And to see the disrespect in that anchor's face when that movie was brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie.
But it's a movie about stuff that's actually going on in this world that people don't pay attention to, or there's not enough news coverage on it because, God forbid, it doesn't fit their narrative. And
Scrappy's over in England, and he brought up the Muslims, which it's a lot of Eastern Bloc stuff over there. When I say Eastern Bloc, I mean the old Soviet Union satellite states. It is freaking nasty in them countries when it comes to this. But going back into the United States, can you believe we have citizens that actually do this shit to people?
And they need to be torn apart and quartered like old school.
Oh, they need to get medieval on them.
That's what I'm saying. Get some horses and tie these people down to these horses and have the horses tear them apart. Tear their limbs off. It's disgusting. You know, I was really shocked when I found this article because supposedly this is the 13th year, and this is the first time I've ever heard about this
First time
that I've heard this.
I didn't know this operation was going for 13 years.
I had no idea. That's why I was like, hey, we need to cover this.
And you know what's worse is you're going to have people, well, they have their rights. Fuck their rights. If you got them cold blasted doing this shit, screw our laws at that point. Shoot them. That's what I think. Put them on national TV. Maybe, you know what, that's what needs to happen. Have executions on TV for the public to see.
You know, they like to, you know, sex traffic all these young children and young women. And
you even have boys, you know, they're doing with little boys.
Yeah, they've got boys out there as well. But they need to make an example of these people that are doing it and that are running these rings and put their faces on TV.
You know,
let everybody know who these people are.
You know, one thing that disgusts me the most is you have a conversation about reparations right now for people that's never been involved in this bullshit. That was 200 something years ago. There is real slavery going on right now in the world. Real slavery. Mm-hmm. What about not focusing on that kind of stuff? They won't. And you know what? This hasn't even got that much coverage.
No.
This should be plastered everywhere.
No, I looked to see if there was way more information, and believe it or not, I found the one article and then the video, and that was it.
Rudy, not only in the US, here in Europe, and he mentioned the Eastern Bloc country. 95% that do it are Poland, Romania, Ukraine. But almost all that watch and actually use them are rich, powerful people. That came from Europe.
It's sick. It's really
sick. But
sick.
why ain't this all over the news? They're only giving, I think that was like only a 3-minute segment.
It was like 3 minutes and some 40, I don't know, something seconds. That was it.
Now, if I put this in the search engine, because I know a lot of people get their news from the internet. Mm-hmm. Let's see if CBS or any of them covered it.
Good luck.
News Nation did. FBI did. Fox did. Oh my God, NBC News finally did, but it's all later. They're using a service where the same article goes across the whole United States. Mm-hmm. And it's not that they don't even have a video of it. Let's take a look at this. This is all that they have on this story from ABC News. This is it. Let's put it up there. This is it.
That's
5 paragraphs.
Yeah.
5 paragraphs is all they do is covering this.
Well, the article I sent you is the same. It's the same.
Let's see. I'm going to go, and it's all the same fucking story.
It's the same story. It's basically each news people are running with the same exact story, the same exact information.
Let's just hit another one here. Let's go to US Today. That's another one of them. Look at a couple paragraphs.
That's it.
That's all those kids deserve is a couple paragraphs.
You know, I'd love to hear how a lot. I would love to hear a happy ending, like these kids were, you know, reunited with their families, or you know, something.
So the reason why I got so mad in the beginning of the show was because the media rather blame clubs than actually going after the real shit here.
Yeah.
And they only give a couple paragraphs. Read yours.
The article that
Yeah.
I sent.
Come on.
The FBI announced Tuesday it found more than 200 sex trafficking victims and more than 125 suspects due to a 2-week child exploitation operation in July. During Operation Cross Country, the FBI located 59 victims of sex trafficking and the child sexual exploitation and 59 missing children. It was also partnership with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The agency teamed with other federal agencies and the state and local police to identify or arrest 126 suspects of sexual exploitation and human trafficking and 68 suspected traffickers.
Does it go into an opinion piece or don't do nothing, does it?
No. Mm-mm.
If you really care about this issue, you're going to want to go and check out Bikers Against Trafficking. They just held in April a ride, the bikersagainsttrafficking.org. See, a lot of biker organizations get involved in just not helping kids, but other big issues like this. And it goes on to say the Bikers Against Trafficking is a nonprofit organization that fights against sex trafficking and brings awareness to the cause. You're taking people's profit away. So when we deal with it, people are insane and they try to get it back. What we took from them, we're very high on security when it comes to personal information. It just gives a rundown of what the organization is about. And I'm surprised the news actually covered it, but it was all local news that covered it. Mm-hmm. It was not national type of stuff. And you also have News 13 right here. I want to see this one. There they are again, the Bikers Against Trafficking. Florida currently ranks third highest in the nation for human sexual trafficking, just below California and Texas. And what's even funny is the high tourism, specifically in Central Florida and the I-4 corridor, are the two main reasons experts say the area sees such a high number of cases. Tourism.
Mm-hmm. Take the out-of-staters.
But if you notice, California and Texas especially is border stuff.
Yeah.
Border states.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy's right. Trafficking makes more money than drugs.
Well, and Jigga Man, he makes a point, and it's true. Some parents sell their children in the trafficking.
Well, they do. Because if you got to pay a coyote, you got to do something.
You got to give them something to get you in the country.
Do I think that's sicker than hell? Yeah, I think a parent should freaking burn in hell for doing that. Sell their own kids like that. They should burn in hell. They should get the worst punishment ever in hell.
But that just shows you what people do just to get in the country. They'll sell their own kids. They'll sell their wives.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get in the U.S. And does anything happen to them? No.
See, that's one thing people don't understand is bikers are on the forefront of every major issue there is. But the media hates them so much because they don't conform to their bullshit that they spread lies. Mm-hmm. Now, did it happen, prostitution in the 70s? Yes. Does it happen today? Yes. But the entire organization is not involved in it. Like I said, they find out something like that, especially with the kid, they'll put a bullet in them. Those idiots that were busted in Sturgis last year, those were independent, and they probably weren't even bikers.
Probably not.
They were probably locals.
And the only reason why it came out saying it was bikers is because of the event.
But the problem, though, is that you've had some bikers probably using their service, which should get the shit slapped out of them for doing it. They should know better. What else you got on this subject? Because you're over there feeling uncomfortable, and I know why you're uncomfortable.
Human trafficking is a grave violation of human rights and preys on the most vulnerable members of our society, according to FBI Director Christopher Wray.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI actions against this threat never waver as we continue to send our message that that this will not be tolerated. About 300,000 children are trafficked every year across the world.
Now,
in the U.S., it only accounts for about 5.1% of those children that are trafficked.
Nah, Philip, majority of child trafficking is overseas, but you decide to use the border narrative? Bullshit. It's happening here in the United States big time. Mm-hmm. Big time.
Every time I go into...
To say it's only happening overseas? Come on.
Every time I go into Walmart and you see the big, huge bulletin board that they have in there about missing children, I can probably guarantee majority of them are being sex trafficked.
See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. For those that do not know the streets, and I grew up on them fucking streets. I grew up on them fucking streets in Chicago. The underworld is something that a lot of people don't see on face value. There's a lot of shit going on down there that a lot of people don't know about. There was one of these places over on the south side of Chicago that had one of these meat markets. And what it was they had a bunch of freaking people in there, girls, kids, whatever, and they'd shoot them up with heroin, make them dependent on the heroin or out of their fucking mind where they didn't know what it was going on. South side of Chicago. Meat market where you had these animals lining up. This ain't a European thing. It happens right here in the good US of A. And especially down in Texas. It has nothing to do with politics. That's the first thing people want to bring up is politics. No, we have a fucked up border where, just like you said, they're selling their kids. They sell kids just to get here.
Yeah. And that's not just for those coming from Mexico. They do it coming from other countries as well. They do it from other countries. It's not just Mexico. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries will sell their children just to get into the U.S., thinking that it's going to be a better life for them when they become basically work slaves in sweatshops while their kids are being sex trafficked just to get to the U.S. because they think it's going to be a better life. Little do they know.
Scrappy, I believe he's in England. He had a whorehouse in his little village until some people burned it down.
Good. They should do that to more.
And Dwayne, you're totally right. It is a different world for sure on the streets. You know, people talk about the streets, but you have to actually live it. You actually have to live it. It's a whole different type of deal. Let's put up here recognizing some of the red flags. We'll take these one by one. They want to stop participating in selling or trading sex, but feel scared or unable to leave.
Because the sex traffickers will threaten their lives. They will also threaten the lives of their families. So they're too afraid to get out because they don't want anything to happen to their family.
You want to know what a meat market is, like what they busted on the south side of Chicago? You can actually watch the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. That is a meat market. That's what they busted in Chicago. And it was run by the Albanians. Next one. They disclosed that they were reluctant to engage in selling sex, but someone pressured them into it.
Because they're going to promise them a better life and all kinds of money and all kinds of this, and that, and a bunch of empty promises.
Kind of what I showed in the beginning.
With the pimp.
The pimps are the worst fuckers out there. They're slimy people.
I mean, it's like people don't even realize the pimps are part of the sex trafficking.
But they glorifize them.
You know, they're part of it. Because they sit there and they will get all up in your head. They will feed you the drugs. They will feed you anything to get you to do their dirty deeds so they make money.
And this is the biggest one right here. They live where they work or are transported by guards between home and workplace.
Yeah.
Most of them girls in the meat markets, they actually called them herds. You know that? Well, you're herd. They sit there tied up to a damn bed. That's their life. And if they do go out, they're guarded by people.
So they don't try and escape or try and report what's going on.
They are children who live with or are supported by or dependent on a family member with a substance abuse problem or who is abusive in other ways. Meaning, and this is the streets for you, if you owe a debt to a loan shark, they're getting their money one way or another.
Or you owe debt for your drugs.
They're getting it one way or another.
They're going to get their money.
There's no running to the cops.
Nope.
It's a whole different system.
You owe for drugs, they'll take your kid.
They have a pimp or manager in the sex trade. You know, the video that everybody's glorifying on TikTok right now, but this moron in his freaking pimp garb. How do you think he's getting his money, people?
Sure the heck ain't from working hard-working 8 to 10 hour job.
And here is a bigger one. They work in an industry where it may be common to be pressured into performing sex acts for money, strip clubs, go-go bars, or the massage business. There's a lot of them ones right there. When you go to one of them Chinese massage parlors, those are a lot of those women working over to get here to the U.S.
Yep. To get the rest of their family here. They come here to work and get basically sex trafficked just to be able to get their family to this country.
Here's some real examples. Let's see here. The recruitment, a man or a woman meet briefly at a party and afterwards he follows her on social media. He contacts her and she posts about a breakup with her baby's father. He is everything she ever dreamed of, a great listener, very supportive. He showers her with gifts. She is deeply in love and believes she has found the person she will build her family with. One night he takes her to a party and tells her to be nice to his friends, to earn jewelry. He makes it seem like there's no big deal at first, so she does it, but then becomes more frequent. Familiar tracking, it goes on and on about this PolarisProject.org. Child trafficking. This is about the recruitment. A parent sexually abuses a child himself and offers the child to others for sexual gratification in exchange for access to other young children. The coercion, the child has been taught that this kind of activity is normal for parents and children and warned not to tell anyone or they will be hurt. Thoughts?
That it's disgusting and this stuff needs to be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, they gave a good start by stopping what they did in July, but it's not enough. You can't just do this thing once a year to stop these sex traffickers, because that
has to be an everyday thing. You got to take down the, you know what? When you think cartels, you think of drugs, but they're also heavily into this shit. That's why I always believe, I don't care if they're in fucking Mexico, bomb them. Put a Predator freaking drone missile through their freaking bedroom. Go ahead.
Well, it's they think, okay, oh look what we did once a year. We busted this many people once a year. Okay, so what about the rest of the year? You're just gonna let everybody keep suffering because you're just gonna want to do it once a year? Why?
And because the movie came out.
Why are they not? Well, that's why I'm saying, because of the movie came out. That's why they're putting it in the news. I swear to you, if they've been doing this 13 years, I have never heard of it until when I saw it yesterday.
LA says the cartels have a huge hold on the market in the States by using coyotes and charging passage, which keeping the kids till the debt is paid. This is true. Now, this is why parents better start watching what the fuck your kids are doing on the internet. On the internet, recruitment and grooming. A lonely, insecure teen dreams of a modeling career and frequently posts pictures of herself striking a pose. She is contacted by someone who claims to be a modeling agent, sends her a plane ticket to come to his studio. When she arrives, he takes her out on the town and tells her she has to be nice to some people in the business and get contracts and sends her out to prostitute. The control is she is far from home, didn't tell her parents she was leaving, has no money and is ashamed. He tells her she is making a good impression, that it will just take a little longer. Those are teens. Teens.
You really got to pay attention to what your kids are doing online. Yeah, it's really hard to do parental blocks nowadays because these teens are so smart that they will find a way to get around those. But here's the easiest way to solve the problem. Have the computer in a room where everyone is sitting instead of letting them have them in their bedrooms. And you know what? Don't fall into the trap of, but I have to have a cell phone. All my friends have one. So
And
these young kids don't need cell phones.
And I agree, Duke. Make it public. Show everyone what happens when you touch a baby. You're damn right. Show that goddamn execution. Put it on the big screen. That's what I say. Put it on the big screen.
I mean, they need this. I know it's probably going to be a never-ending battle, and it's not going to ever end, but they need to keep doing more. It needs to be a daily issue that needs to be worked on, not once a year.
The only way to end this is to burn it to the ground, and that means everything. But we will never do it. There are too many powerful people that run things in the way.
That's because there's a lot of people that are probably in, and it's sick thought, but I can guarantee it. There's a lot of people in the government that use these children as well.
You're damn right they do. Hell, you had an ex-president flying to Epstein Island.
I mean, So it is very hard to probably put a kibosh on it entirely because of the fact that too much money's going into it from too many high influential people.
Why, you know what? Why hasn't Epstein's client list been released to the public? Why? Because they don't want to expose the rich and powerful for what they fucking are.
And I'm sorry, I agree with Rich. They need to release the list. And there needs to be punishment to people on that list.
Prince Andrew was one of them. He's still walking around. Bill Clinton's still walking around. Some of these Hollywood producers and executives and actors are still walking around. But if you're rich, you have money, you don't get exposed for what you are. That's why that list has been quieted. And that was a criminal case. It should have been that should have been public. And then you go back to Epstein. Dude was killed. It was a setup. He was hung. He's done. That was the rich and powerful that killed his ass.
Because they were afraid the list was going to come out. Kill the source.
I'm surprised they didn't kill that other one.
Oh, give it time. Give it time.
Now, the New York Magazine, who are the newly revealed the associates, I guess they are claiming that Bill Gates, Leon Black, Thomas Prickster, I believe he's a brother or something, the J.B. Prickster, the governor here in
Illinois.
And it goes on to say the journal discovered the names after it obtained a previously unreported trove of documents, including thousands of emails and Epstein's private schedules. So you have Bill Gates on there, Thomas Prickster.
Does it surprise you? Bill Gates, does that surprise you?
But why are they still walking around?
Because they have money. God forbid Prickster, his freaking brother gets busted. Because that ain't going to look too good on him being the governor of Illinois.
And they claim Epstein died by suicide. Yeah, they did
They
did a Hillary Clinton on him.
Sure he did. What the hell's a Hillary Clinton?
Everybody around the Clintons die. Everybody around them. Oh, they committed suicide. But that's what a lot of these victims are dealing with. Come on, Bill Gates was on it. Why is he still walking around?
Because he's got money. Pay his way out.
But it shows you how big of freaks they are.
Mm-hmm.
That they do this.
And why it's sad to say that it's going to be a never-ending battle to get sex trafficking to end.
It's never going to end.
It's never going to end, but make some examples of people and maybe it'll slow it down.
Let's go to the news today. That was a very intense subject right there. I know usually on the Madhouse we're goofing around and stuff like that, but
well, let's lighten it up a little.
Yeah, seeing that kind of stuff, I wanted to make sure because I know how the media is when it especially comes to clubs.
So right here in our local area, that's next town over, police are searching for 3 suspects in a smash and grab robbery at the Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary in South Beloit.
They went on a smash and grab, huh?
Yep, they smashed the vehicle through the glass windows. Sad part is one of their faces is straight up on camera. Of course, they could not get any of the weed because it's all locked up. But on Wednesday morning, a pickup truck backed through their front door and the offenders vandalized the store. Unable to gain access to the secure vault or any cannabis product, no employees were on site and no injuries that they were aware of, but all cannabis dispensaries have extensive surveillance system that feed directly to law enforcement. And the incident remains
You know what?
under investigation.
They're probably going to use that as, oh no, the dispensaries bring in big in crime and all that bullshit.
All they were able to do was basically vandalize it because everything's locked in a vault. So they were not able to even get anything. Don't even understand why they tried. They have the vehicle. What was a GMC white pickup truck. And there are the 3 people that went in there. One of them straight up close and personal in the camera, full face view.
Morons.
Dumbass. You should have worn a mask.
That is the
that is
textbook definition of a moron.
This is called dumb criminals.
Dumb criminals at their best. Fucking morons.
Let's just look at
you got that right, Steve, on today's episode of Retarded Criminals.
Let's look straight in the camera while the other 2 are hiding their faces.
You know what? People do the stupidest shit. And they're the ones they wonder why they end up in the joint because they're stupid.
All they have to do is find him. Face recognition. Hello.
And that's, you know what? That's true, man. A lot of this shit now, they run him through a face recognition program.
All they have to do is find him, find out who he hangs out with, and bam, all 3 are busted.
Oh, you know they're going to rat on each other.
Oh, hell yeah. It wasn't mine, dude. It was his truck. I was just there. You noticed in the video I didn't do nothing.
Oh, my God.
I mean, what a waste. These people those 3 are the dumbest morons ever because of the fact that they lock everything up.
Yeah, it's in a vault.
You have absolutely no access to anything. So you're going to go in there just to vandalize it. That's just stupid.
Oh, my goodness. What other stuff we got in the news today?
Artificial intelligence continues.
Oh, this was a big one.
Continues to demonstrate its impressive abilities. A new study from Sweden has proven that AI can screen for breast cancer as well, if not better, than a double reading of mammograms by 2 highly skilled radiologists. And AI can cut the workload of cancer radiologists by almost half.
Uh-huh.
So radiologists might end up losing their jobs.
Well, I know there's a lot of jobs right now that AI is affecting. Copywriters, editors, all that kind of stuff is going down the tube now. Can you imagine going to school to be a copyright editor, and next thing you know, we don't need you.
We don't need you.
You don't write entire term papers with Chat GPT.
Yeah,
entire papers with it.
Yep.
Hell, you to write your own book with the damn shit. That's what's really scary. Everybody's going to be doing it now.
Yep.
That's just like a lot of these channels on YouTube now. They're using AI to make their videos. They have the AI narrating just clips that they got off of B-roll off the internet. And it's amazing. They take the Chat GPT definition and it runs the whole fucking thing.
Well, according to this study that was done in Sweden, they did scans of more than 80,000 women with an average age of 54. Half the scans were examined by AI plus a radiologist, the other half just a pair of radiologists. While the standard screening process found 203 cases of breast cancer, the AI assisted group found 244 cases of breast cancer, a 20% increase over the pair of doctors.
Holy cow. It is getting nuts.
So it's coming, people.
It is coming, and it's going to take a lot of jobs away. Wait 20, 30 years from now. You're not going to have an automotive line. You're not going to have people on a motorcycle line. You're going to have all fucking robots on the line. What?
Nothing. My next story is going to lighten the mood.
Okay, lighten the mood.
A Los Angeles truck driver was born with 2 penises.
Dude, what a lucky dude.
He's speaking about the unusual sex life, saying several of his lovers enjoyed the fact that he had multiple members. The man, identified only as Tank, suffers from diphilia, which is a genetic abnormality when a male is born with 2 penises.
Does that mean he can like do 2 girls at once?
No, it means he can stick 2 penises in one hole at the same time.
Oh man, I bet his wife is loving that.
He's not married.
Oh, he should be.
And he is not the only one in his family that was born with some sort of I guess
what
you
do
could
they
say,
drink the radioactive water out there or something?
He says, when I'm penetrating a woman, I would get a feeling, because both of his penises would ejaculate at the same time.
Holy cow.
Even if only one was being stimulated, like if he was only using one of the penises and the other one was not being stimulated at all.
You imagine a woman that
he would actually still ejaculate out of both of them, even if the other one wasn't being touched. Can you imagine oral sex on that? How the fuck is that possible? Better have 2 women, goddamn it.
How is what would a woman think it had?
He says all the women. He actually had a few
like
women.
a circus right there.
He actually had a few women that after being with him only will do threesomes because they have to have 2 penises inserted at the same time now because of the way it felt. Because he did go and have surgery and have one of his penises removed.
You stupid ass. You could DP by yourself, man. What the hell's wrong with you?
He did have one removed.
I bet it was the littler one.
They were actually the same size.
Oh, dude.
They were both the same size. And his other family members, his uncle was born with the same thing, having the 2 penises.
Right.
And his father was born with testicles as huge as a bull's. But
talking about having the balls of steel.
His testicles were about as big as a bull's balls. But according to Tank, his dad's penis was just medium size.
You imagine dude had like a 9-inch freaking schlong and had 2
this
of them.
mofo's had 2 of them. He had 2.
Look at you salivating over there.
No, ew, that'd be nasty. No thanks.
Yeah, but they said they had to do threesomes now because, they had the feeling of 2,
they had the feeling of his 2 penises at the same time. Yeah. She started having threesomes after their breakup because a single penis could no longer satisfy her. She wanted to be a porn star and she wanted to do a video together. I probably would have made a lot of money, but
he probably would have, you idiot.
But he refused.
I'd have used that to my advantage. I got 2 peckers, man. I'd be rich.
He says he claimed it was extremely difficult to have sex with only one of his penises at a time, while the use of 2 penises was painful for most of his sexual partners. So he did decide to get surgery. He knew it would hurt some women, but he did go ahead and have one of them removed.
That's his textbook definition of retard right there.
I just figured I'd lighten it up with penis story.
I guess that was a lighten up moment right there. Holy cow, man.
Can you imagine being born? Dude, talk about going skiing. You don't need 2 dudes. You can just do it with 1.
I'm telling you.
Hey, going skiing.
Holy cow, man.
What?
That's messed up. 2 dicks.
Come on, you know.
I guess it's a woman's dream.
I mean, not mine, but somebody's.
Anyway, that's the news for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this deep topic right here today. We'll lighten it up for, Friday. It's going to be, a little lighter on that kind of stuff. We do serious stories here, too.
Well,
serious
sometimes
issues.
you have to. Sometimes you have to.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, we've always said we cover pretty much everything. So
well, this room of bikers sure does have a good cock story. There you go, right there. We'll talk to you later, everybody. You have a good one.
I say goodbye, vamoose, adios, ciao, so long, get your hat jack.
#1 internet biker radio show is now available on Spotify and all major platforms, including iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, and